What is up, fine viewers, and welcome to another Into the Deep.
Hello!
Hi! Today we are here to talk about our third episode of Doctor Who Flux, Once Upon Time. So we got some pictures and maybe some theories based on what we think might happen in this episode. So why don't we take a look at these pictures here, right? And then we'll get started.
Are those PlayStation controllers?
I don't know. I'm trying to tell too. I'm like, maybe they could be any controller nowadays.
They're playing Rocket League.
Or Fortnite.
Or
Laugh if they
Fortnite.
play that.
Yeah, I don't know. That looks like Yasmin's house, though.
Yeah, so it looks like they're gonna go back to Yasmin's house for sure. And they're also the return of her family. So I think it's gonna be some of it's gonna be Earth based. I'm pretty sure. So yeah. I think. What do you think the reason will be for them to go to Yaz's house? Because Yaz did say that she was like, "Oh, my family's down there," and then the Flux was gonna like come over and devour the whole planet and stuff. So
I don't know.
excellent. I found that interesting last episode in War of the Centaurans is that the Doctor couldn't open the door to the TARDIS because there was no door.
Well, the TARDIS works based on the flows of time, which were being corrupted as the Mori were being murdered and dusted. So, obviously, that goes to show that there's a more time-based race, more ancient than the Time Lords.
Yeah.
So, if the TARDIS follows laws of time, then there's something more ancient than that that's disrupting the flow of its everything. So,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe they should stop dusting the Mori. Then maybe the TARDIS will work.
Like, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh God. We just walk like towards the exit, pretend nothing's happened. Okay, picture number 2, the TARDIS. That's them. They're freaked out at something.
Well, the line there was from the other day's episode.
Yeah.
Could really harm the TARDIS.
Time is beginning to run wild, could really harm the TARDIS. So that, I think, I've never seen this shot before. Like, this is the first time, seeing this shot. The TARDIS doesn't look like it's melting anymore.
No, there's no goo going on in there. I think it's just... It mentioned something about temporal causality, I think.
Yeah.
Not in this episode, but the prior one.
Mm.
There might be issues with the flux itself, so they might be just hitting some temporal turbulence. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Okay, well that's that one. So definitely, I think the TARDIS could be in some sort of peril as well. We don't really have answers to that at the moment, but I think we might feel that out in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Picture number 3. Who is this other individual? Who do you think that is?
Hang on.
Be a historical figure. You don't even have to be specific. Just like be vague about it too. You can be like, okay, who is this? Who does this look like?
His blazer kind of resembles that of Swarm, honestly.
True.
That's weird.
Oh, maybe you're right. Could that be Swarm, but in a human form, do you think?
They're still in the chamber, like where the Temple of Atropos, like where that it's proximity censored, where he dusted them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he took on a human form or something. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. And then Yaz is in the back.
They're still wearing the same clothing too as they were in the previous, like the most current episode.
Yeah, so it looks like
So-
they're yeah. So it definitely looks like I don't know if Yaz just has her hands on the back behind her back casually or just kind of like
She's
oh
being held in a trap of some sort.
well then again Vinder's kind of doing the same thing. So it could just be like a forced thing. So I think it's like a situation they can't get out of.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
like
I think that might be Swarm.
that might be Swarm, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean it could look like him for sure. But that yeah. You know what? I'm gonna stick with that guess, and if I'm wrong, screw that. But yeah, okay. That's interesting. Okay, we have another Vinder picture. The next one over. I did see this in the preview. I don't know if you saw this in the preview of the next one, but they were all dressed up in armor, holding guns.
Right.
Dan was holding one of these guns, so I think this might resolve with the attack on the Cybermen.
We've come to reclaim what you took. If you look at the actual
Quote.
caption for most of these photos, it's "We've come to reclaim what you took." What if that's from the point of view of the Cybermen? What if the Cybermen are saying that?
Maybe for some reason the Cybermen thought that the Doctor stole the Siberium, but the Master did. Obviously,
Maybe, but it might they might make it look like it was the Doctor, right? Like, so it'll make it look like from a perspective of us that they're blaming the Doctor when in reality they're blaming Swarm and Azure,
yeah,
right? That would be interesting. So they're not even actually after the Doctor; they'd be after the Ravagers.
maybe.
That'd be interesting.
Do you think there's an alliance between the Cybermen and the Ravagers, or any other alliances?
I don't think there's an alliance between those two. No, I think that they're enemies actually. Then again, it might also just be a product of the Flux, and they're just there for an unknown reason. Like they're not supposed to be, but they are. Kind of how the Suntarans were, where Russia was supposed to be. You know.
Right, I see. Okay. All right, we have our next picture. We got Jodie in an alternate uniform, actually in an inverted uniform of her getup, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks marvelous. It reminds me of my reversible hoodie I used to wear in a Beyond the Grave video back in nostalgia Green Heat Land. But yeah, like I am in love with this darker shade. I'm not much for fashion, but I do like how
She's an iPhone. She switched to dark mode.
Yes, exactly. She is.
I think Chris Chibnall's going to use any means of symbolism he can at this point, and I think that this is going to be the catalyst of a downturn for Jodie, or like a darker path for her character.
I feel so too. I feel like the 13th Doctor in general has always been kind of like happy at first in series 11, and then like when series 12 happens, it's like the stakes are higher. Series 13, the stakes are even higher. Now she's like a nervous wreck. So I think maybe it's just like she's getting more angry every time.
Yeah.
Darker for sure. So I agree with you for that. But yeah, no, she looks good in that. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the next photo, we got the same Jodie, I guess maybe even the same shot. I don't know. They look like they're still in the temple. Now what should we get from this picture?
That's a weird one because this doesn't look like it's on the ship anymore.
I think maybe it's just on the actual planet itself.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's in that cabin house that they said that they had.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it might have something to do with that.
Maybe could be like a Gallifreyan sort of twist to that, or ways of leading into Gallifrey at some point, or vice versa. Gallifrey could be leading into this. But yeah, I think like set wise, it looks pretty nice, and yeah,
it'll have something to do with the Timeless Child, and like I'm thinking it's gonna have something to do with Tecteun, honestly.
yeah, yeah. I think it. Well, I think Chibnall wants to like kind of wrap up the story as best he could, or at least the story arc anyway. Yeah, because if I was a writer, I would. Well, I am actually, but if I was a showrunner, I guess I would like make sure it kind of the story arc ends on something that we can't really question, but something we can be like, oh, something to think about, but not something to be like, oh, you know.
Right.
So yeah, definitely we'll be getting a lot more Timeless Child references, and also some more scenes and more story arcs from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. Tecteun will probably make another appearance. All right, next photo, we got the Cybermen.
Yeah, I think they're straight up going after the Ravagers. I don't think they have any interest in the Doctor at this point.
Yeah, and it's like, it was something I said earlier about the Cybermen going after the Doctor for the Cyberium. But I think other than that, I think it would probably be going after the Ravagers at some point. So I think you might be right, Rye. I think that might be the case.
Yeah, well, I think, I don't know. We'll see how on point Chibnall is with remembering story arc.
Yeah,
Because I actually don't even remember what happened to the Cyberium.
I think the Master had a hold of it, and he used that to create an army.
The Time Lord Cybermen or whatever.
Yeah, the Cyber Masters. I think that's what they were called. Okay. And then we have our last photo of Azure. And yeah, she's this looks like a place that's different than every other place we've seen so far. But it looks like it's definitely from the same episode.
It might be an explanation of the Ravagers. Their faces become encrusted with jewel, like with precious gemstones, jewels, and everything. I'm willing to bet that's, given what we saw with that other guy next to Vinder, I'm willing to bet this is not what they actually look like. This is just what they've collected on their bodies to survive, or just what they've become with their greed and their incessant need to take.
Yeah. And with their with Swarm, as he was trapped on, by the first episode, he was trapped on that planet or whatever. He was like imprisoned, but he looked different than he does now, and that is regeneration. Because he said, "I'm renewed." So obviously, it's not just Time Lords or humanoid Time Lords that have this ability.
Right.
This guy does too, or this species, or the Ravagers do too. I think they just absorb whatever. They're like the cool version of the Absorbaloffs.
Oh, I hate those things.
Yeah.
I'm an Absorbaloff.
Do you know which episode I mean?
Yeah, that lady that played Moaning Myrtle was in there.
Yep.
Her voice is weird and terrifies me.
Yeah. Yep. That's definitely it for sure. But yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments below of your predictions for episode 3 of Doctor Who's Flux. I also want to let you guys know Green E13 is back, and we the video, I don't know what time or if you're in the past, present, or future, but the video is out. The phase 2 video is out, and it starts Friday, November 12th. Also, happy 9 years to Green Eat 13 starting tomorrow. We're recording this on the 11th, so yeah. We will be right back with you guys next week for some more predictions and some reviews.
All right, guys, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.